Fucking
Ian
love it.
H for 20 says, personally, I always make attractive women in all my playthroughs. When I do a guy, I make it look like me in the next run.
That's what my cousin does too. I asked my cousin this years ago why he so for context, my cousin's like a 6'4" huge guy, right? And I'm always like, why don't you make yourself in video games when you play them? And he's like, well, you have to stare for them from behind the whole time. He's like, so if I'm going to stare something from behind the whole time, I'm going to make it a hot chick. And I was like, okay, fine, makes sense.
He gets
He's
it.
been doing that for literally like 20 years.
It really works for women. Women love character creators. When we were demoing
they do,
WoW, at the trade show, there'd just be women for an hour just making a character. My wife takes 1 to 2 hours to make her Abby before we're ready to game. So
she's not here tonight, but Anna, that Star Wars girl, I remember when she first played Elden Ring, she fucking did an 8-hour stream or something at the Elden Ring creator for the characters.
Yeah.
And that's basically her entire stream, was her fucking around with the character. I think 2 streams.
And I think in RPG and MMO genres in particular, you have a lot of female players. So I think
For
it's
me,
really important.
I'm not a big fan of character creators because I just want to get into the game.
Yeah, me too.
But I get stuck in I have to stick with what I pick, so I need to be happy with it. I'm like, I'd rather just not have the options. I'd rather just give me the character so I can start the game.
Yeah, my problem is that like most of the time when there's a character creator, you actually can't make a character that looks as good as the unique characters in the game. Like I was saying before with Mass Effect, right?
Yeah.
When you look at all the characters in Mass Effect, all the squad members like Rex and Garrus and Tali and whatever, they're all so highly detailed. And then obviously like the OG Commander Shepard, like the default Shepard, he's the same level of detail as they are. But once you make your own character, you're not able to create a character that has the same level of like detail and fidelity as the OG Shepard. You kind of are only able to turn your Shepard into this like NPC looking Shepard, if you will. Mm-hmm. So that's why when I played it, I was just like, well, I'll just be the OG Shepard then, because there's no point, because whatever I make is going to look weird when put up against.
Unless you're an artist. I mean, artists can tweak those sliders and depending on the character creator and get close to the character.
I don't know. For me with Mass Effect, my character always looked really messed up when I tried. So I just went with OG Shepard and I was like, forget about it. I care way more about customization of the character, like clothing or like, things afterwards, like actual like spells and abilities and stuff. Like one of my favorite characters to play in a game was Geralt from The Witcher. I was fine with the way he looked. It's fine. I just care about like his stats, his weapons, his abilities. That matters way more to me to customize than like whether he has black hair or he's bald or something. It's just me though.
Well,
I'm about halfway. I have a time limit. If 30 minutes is my max in a character creator. And
yeah, it's the same thing with Elden Ring and Dark Souls and stuff, because like
those are mostly
don't
like
even see your character. You put your armor on, right? So
right.
Yeah, you don't even see the face most of the time.
No, like my Dark Souls guys.
Well, wait, I know you said this before, but about not seeing your character, but I believe in Dragon Age Veilguard, the cutscenes your character in, you do see them.
Yeah.
We got
only games,
and there's a lot of cutscenes in Dragon Age Veilguard.
I think we can all agree that the best character creators of all time was in WWF No Mercy for the N64.
Oh, even now the wrestling games have really good. Those are like I was
gonna say the only time I really care about creating a character is if I'm doing like a sports game where I'm like creating like a whole baseball team or something like that. Yeah.
Be actually seeing the characters. That's the
exactly.
difference.
I created like, for instance, I created the whole team of Major League from the movie Major League once at a baseball game. For instance,
my favorite character creator was Def Jam Fight for New York. That's the one I cared about.
Wait, I got one that Flash would spend a lot of time in. City of Heroes. If you're playing
we got the lead review for 50 says City of Heroes had the best character creator Trump 2024. He's reading your mind, Mark.
You'd be all about that. Yeah, I mean, if you were creating your own superhero, I'd bet you would spend an hour at least in the character creator.
I think for a game like that, it makes sense though. I feel like
I missed out. I'd always wanted to play City Heroes, but I didn't have a PC at the time.
I would also say Dragon Age as well. The Dragon Age games are probably one of the only series of games where the character creator is actually objectively good enough that it actually feels validating to use it. Like in Inquisition, for example, I spent a long time making my character, and I really liked how he turned out.
Until now.
I mean, here's the thing, right? Because like, I'm very, very divided on Dragon Age Veilguard because I love BioWare games. Like literally in front of me right now, I have the Inquisition flag. I have a Grey Warden flag on the wall. Got the N7 flag over here. Like I love BioWare games. I grew up on them.
I used to. It's not, but it's not the same people anymore.
I know. Here's the thing is like part of me is like I've played some of these games that I do reports on. Like for example, I played Forspoken, even though I knew it would be terrible. So I just wanted to know. And yes, it was terrible. And I already said in some of my videos that I do want to play Veilguard just so that I can see how bad certain things about it can be. And also just as a BioWare fan,
I got too many games that I need to play.
Yeah, but just for me, like with Veilguard, it's probably going to be my funeral for BioWare, if you will. You know, like my farewell. Like I'll play this game, I'll see how bad it is. I'm really hoping that it's not a bunch of women in power only. There's no men. I've already saw in one of the trailers that there's a whole mission where you're fighting in the Grey Warden's fortress. And of course, the guy that's leading the Grey Wardens is a white guy who's inept at his job. And I was like, here we go. So really hoping that's not the norm throughout the entire game.
I just want to play good games. Like I just platinumed Astrobot. Had a great time with that game.
Game's awesome.
That game's fantastic. I know it's like, kind of like a PlayStation billboard, but I hate to break it to people, but PlayStation's been around for like 30 fucking years now.
Yeah.
So they have like a huge devoted fan base and people that get all of those jokes in it. But even outside of the PlayStation celebration that it is, and it's the 30th anniversary right now, isn't it? That's why that game exists. The platforming in it is amazing.
Yeah,
it's probably one of the best platformers I've ever played, to be honest.
Wow. It's great. Like there's like one mission in that game where you can just like minimize yourself so you're really small, and then they never use that mechanic again. Like it's only for one mission.
No, they used it a couple.
Did they? I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure it was like 2 or 3 levels. I don't remember. Yeah. I did everything in that game. I loved it.
Flash,
yeah, like you have like one.
It's gotta be a good game because Kotaku's so triggered over it.
Yeah, I saw they're mad about that game. It would be so much better without its identity. Why?
Such a weird take. But real quick, Flash. Something I wanted to share. Do you mind if I share my screen? I have the LinkedIn for Corinne Bush, the trans woman.
Corinne Bush?
Yeah, you seeing this? Is it showing up for you?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the person that's the game director for Veilguard. And it's interesting because I had a lot of people in my comments when I was talking about this in my videos. They're like, oh, well, it's not the first game to do it. The first game that did the scars on the chest was The Sims, The Sims 4. That's the one that, made it popular. How shocked would you be if I told you that she or he works on the
Patient Zero found.
So fun little thing that we found out is this is the person spreading it everywhere.
That's the virus.
That's fuck this game. I'm not giving it money. It'll be interesting to see how well it does.
In a meeting with her, and she brings it up and says, "I want to put top surgery scars in the game." What's everyone going to say at the meeting? They're just going to like look at each other and kind of like nod, right? Because
they're not going to be like,
because they want to keep their job.
No one says no to this.
I didn't know we had a bigot in our ranks.
We had this exact discussion. We had this exact discussion on Friday on Side Scrollers where we were talking about so much of what's happening in this industry right now can boil down to people not having the balls to say no. Everybody's like, oh, okay, yeah.
I like the term for this, though. It's toxic positivity.
100%.
It's a great term for it because it's true. Like, you're not allowed to be negative. And that's what destroyed Concord, as we found out. A culture. I can't believe
the Concord toxic like positivity. 4 or 5 Ghost of Tsushima.
And it's not genuine positivity. It's manufactured in order to form some sort of virtue consensus. There's nothing here that's good for the product. There's nothing here that's genuine. Everyone thinks this is a great idea. Let's be positive about it. It's sort of like anti-truth positivity, and it prevents you from making good decisions about.
Part of the problem is if it's coming from the higher ups, like we'll watch the video talking about it. But if it's coming from the higher ups and all the people below that don't want to question it because they don't want to be excommunicated from the cult, and they're getting a paycheck every 2 weeks.
I disagree. I think yes, the top wants to make money. There's the very top, right? We're talking the C level, right? And then you have the sort of like leads that are below that. And yeah, some of them might push it, but they kind of understand the money a little bit too, right? Not as much as the C level. But I think all it takes is one of your devs, you know, and in this case, good find on that. The one who did the Sims, who was on the Sims 4, and the one who's in Veilguard. All it takes is one person on the right side of history to say, "I want this." And they're so toxic, and they will absolutely report you to HR if you ever disagree with them. One person holds the entire team hostage.
You're making the point I was making. That you don't disagree with. That's what that's what I think. Like, one person's doing it, and everyone's too afraid to say something.
Look where that fear got them, though. That studio, now they're all afraid they're going to lose their jobs, and
I can't believe they still have a job. How is Firewalk still in business? Like, where's the money coming? Who's paying them? What are they doing?
It sounds like they're going to get shut down and moved and shuffled.
Look, we talked about this. We've all talked about this before. About this is likely going to be a big effort to do a tax write-off, right? Especially $400 million. So I mean, they're pulling digital copies, right? They're nuking them right off of PlayStations.
It's never coming back.
I don't think it is either.
It's the ET landfill thing. Basically, you have to destroy all the cartridges, or what movie was it that they had to destroy all the footage of?
Is that the Coyote one?
Well, I was reading an argument about the game
Batwoman
and how
over Batgirl.
Well, you have to think Concord was designed to not have any monetization surrounding it. So for them to bring that back as a free-to-play game, they have to redesign everything. And I don't think they're going to do that.
Well, they were intending to add that eventually to it on top of the $40 price, but they never did.
Here's the problem with Concord is that it doesn't really matter what they do. The only thing they could probably do going forward, if they really wanted to try and save this, would be to take whatever the hell would happen in like season 1 of the game or season 2 of the game, and then take that content out and put it behind a paywall. And I think it hopes that someone buys it, I guess, and make it free to play. But ultimately, it always comes back to the character designs. They're not good. And if the character design at a base level is not good, people will not get attached to the characters and then want to make new designs.
Weren't you call that out on Twitter?
No.
They dismissed it as white noise.
Yeah. So I had.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
the inside
sticking their head in the sand.
And the team was like, "Hey, there's some serious feedback here from the beta." And the head of strategic marketing basically sent out an email saying, "Oh no, that's just white noise. Completely ignore it. Everything."
What?
Fine.
People are saying they don't want to play as someone so fat they pull their pants over their belly in a hero shooter?
Feedback. They had all the information. You know what they should have done? Because by all accounts, the base game's pretty good, right? It's not a bad game. They should have just, especially after sinking 400
but there's
million,
other games that aren't bad games that already exist.
They should have put a Sonic. They should have redesigned the characters and relaunched it.
Exactly. That's the thing, right? If the characters aren't fixed, it doesn't matter what they do. It could be the best playing game of all time. It doesn't matter. It's a hero shooter. If the characters look horrible, no one wants to play it.
And they
Overwatch,
like I said, it's got to be a hero shooter, lives and dies, and if you can rule 34 the characters. That's
and no one made Rule 34 of Concord, which tells you everything you need to know right there.
Why would anybody?
By internet law, it means it doesn't exist.
They had like that old Asian woman. I guess there's an old woman in Overwatch. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
What's her name? Anna? I think her name's Anna. Am I wrong?
And why does
it's been too long?
Why does that exist too? Like, who wants to play as old women?
They had ample time to retool it, but they chose proactively to say "F you" to the players. No, this is our vision.
No, this is the future of PlayStation. Right
you will eat up this slop, and you will.
They were so proud. They were like, "We're gonna own the chuds when this comes out. You just wait and see."
And they all thought it was gonna be amazing.
and all the journos were like, "This is great. Why is it not? There must be errors. Why is it that the server doesn't make sense for it to be this low?"
That was Paul Tass. He's like, there has to be a bug.
Yeah,
this card can't be real.
It doesn't make sense.
Is the database down?
That was classic.
She doesn't look as old as the woman in Concord, though, I just pulled up this Anna character. She
Yeah,
doesn't
but
look
that's the
anything
thing,
like
right?
the one in the one in Concord.
But the thing is like at the end of the day, even though Anna here is an old woman or whatever, the design still has potential.
She looks cool though.
That's the
looks
thing.
fine. I don't have a problem with this character.
Like Overwatch, like you can say, it's identity politically driven, blah blah blah. That's true, but you have to give credit where it's due. They actually do design well looking characters for the most part. You know what I mean? Like I was saying earlier, like Diva looks amazing from like just the base Diva design's amazing, and then from there, if people love the character, obviously they want to buy skins. And really, hero shooters are about playing dress up, right? Nobody wants to play dress up with Concord's characters. Nobody.
How could they not
You
make
know what-
one
Yeah, here it is.
character?
I don't know if you guys know this about Overwatch, but Blizzard doesn't model those characters. They're farmed out to contractors in Asia, and that's a weird thing. We used to do everything in house because that was where the top quality was. And when Overwatch got farmed out, that kind of broke my heart a little bit. That's like Blizzard giving up. That's a real sign of a different Blizzard.